Business Brain, episode 589 for Casual Friday, October 11th, National Spread Joy Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take a few ideas, we dissect them, we analyze them, sometimes we even rant about them, but it's all in serving the purpose of tuning our business brains every single time we get together. Our sponsor for this week is Notion.com/businessbrain. That's where you can go to try out Notion for free. It combines project management with all your docs, your knowledge base, AI. They've got this beta connector thing that brings in your Slack and all this other cool stuff. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And out here in Lafayette, California, I'm still Shannon Jean.
How are you,
man? Happy Friday.
Yeah, I'm good.
I am.
Yeah, happy Friday. Happy.
Trying to be. Good. Trying to find my notes to see. Oh, we're talking about AI to get started today.
Well, yeah, we have a new segment that, it's a segment we've been doing for a little while, but now we have a name for it, which might need to be workshopped because it's hard to say. We're calling it AI IRL, which is AI in real life, because maybe it's mind your AI business or something. Like I feel like there's a there's a well, it's fine. But it's how we're using AI in our businesses, because we're using it on a regular basis. And I think it was me that came across this one. I think it was one of the Mac Geek Gab listeners that turned me on to this engine called Freepik. Freepik.
That's right. Okay.
And they have an AI image generator there. You can use it for free. You can also pay. They give you like 20 credits a day, which is 20 images a day. And the images that it generates are so much better than what I've seen from ChatGPT.
Especially when it has people in it, right?
When it has people in it, yeah. And you can really describe, I described a band that I play in. Now, I didn't put in pictures of us, but I described the people sort of, and it looks like people.
Yeah, it looks like you with your shirt off there, banging
it looks like me with my shirt off. That's right. Yeah, that's how I look. Pretty
sweaty.
Ripped. Yeah, sweaty and ripped. That's how I am at the end of every gig. But I told it to create, two guys podcasting.
Killer,
and it doesn't look like you and me.
No, but look at the shadowing and the shine.
The
like it looks like my forehead with the shine on there. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, and the shadow of lights and stuff.
Look at that. That's a big deal. That's good.
If you're not watching this, if you're listening, it really does a good job, and you can try it out for free. In fact, I have not yet paid for it and have used it. I used it for last week's Mac Geek Gab image. We talked about smashing hard drives, and so I was like, all right, well,
that's cool.
Let's find some geeks smashing hard drives in the kitchen. I forget, but it was like combine the kitchen with hard drives and hammers, and so like it just kind of started to come together. It was like,
that's really cool.
Like it looks like somebody in the kitchen with eggs and a hammer and a hard drive, and like this never happened.
Yeah,
and
that's
yet,
very cool.
So it's kind of cool.
I like it.
So I'm stoked about Freepik. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes. We want to know how you're using AI, folks. So tell us, first of all, at feedback@businessbrain.show. But also, for those of you listen on Spotify, we're going to attach a poll to this episode. How often are you using AI in your business? And we will make sure that we put an option for never, because I believe that AI is evil. And I will tell you this. I don't necessarily disagree with you. However, what I currently believe is that if you're not using AI in your business, you have just given your competition a huge leg up. And it's, that ship has sailed is kind of my...
I agree. And so one of the AI services that I use is called Cast Magic, and it's amazing. It allows you to upload any audio or video, and it then gleans all the data out of it and creates creates other things related to that content. It'll create social media posts. It'll create blog posts, LinkedIn stuff. It'll give you facts. It'll allow you to create a little knowledge base from those things. And then it gives you control of that data. You can download it. You can do different things with it.
Yeah.
And you can do it with an RSS feed. So I take a link from one of our older podcasts if I'm trying to put together a concept to build it out, put it up in there. I really like it. They have a free version, which I think is great. It's definitely, I use it almost every day, probably every other day.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I've got another one that we're probably going to start using for this show called FlowSend, but I'll save that for a future AI IRL segment. And but send us what you have, feedback at businessbrain.show. All right, folks, listen, have you ever felt like you're juggling 10 different tools just to keep your business brain organized? Well, drop those digital bowling pins and let me introduce you to our sponsor, Notion, your all-in-one workspace for total business brilliance. I've been using Notion with one of my businesses, and it's fantastic. It's like somebody took a Swiss Army knife and said, hey, let's make this digital and give it AI for days, right? Notion combines notes, docs, projects, and tasks all in one beautifully designed space. And the AI, it's like having a personal assistant who already knows everything you've ever worked on. No more jumping between apps. It's all right there. Notion AI can search, generate, analyze, and even chat with you, pulling from GPT-4 and Claude, which means you get answers fast, whether it's digging through thousands of docs or pulling insights from Slack discussions, Google Docs, and more. And don't worry, your privacy is locked down tight. No data gets used to train the AI models, right? This is important. So if you're ready to simplify your workflow, save time, and feel like a productivity wizard, try Notion for free when you go to notion.com/businessbrain. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/businessbrain to try the powerful, easy to use Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're supporting the show. Notion.com/businessbrain. Fortune 500 companies are using it, and so can you. Trust me, your business brain will thank you, and we thank Notion for sponsoring this episode. You know, one thing about AI, Shannon, I use AI to craft all of the sponsor reads that we do for this show. And I know I'm delaying our second topic here, but this is important.
Yeah.
I started doing it because I found that the sponsors will send us a list of bullet points, essentially. We call them talking points. And they'll say, pick 3 of these 5 and include them, or so, whatever. It's fine. Like, all good. I found, and they say make it your own, which I would. Except every time I got the same list of talking points, I would do the same thing, right? Because that's
totally
how
normal.
my
That's
brain
in your head,
works.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was like, well, they want a fresh spot every time, which is why they're doing this. But I'm not delivering a fresh spot. I mean, technically it's a fresh spot. I'm following the instructions to the letter and my intentions are pure, but my brain is lazy, right? So
that's right.
I started using ChatGPT and now it mixes it up and it makes it great. And I even tell it, so you can go back and listen to the spots and look for these things. I tell it, make me say something like appropriate, but still sort of absurd, like in the spot, just to keep it interesting for all of us, right? Which is fine. And I've gotten to the point where I really trust it and I read it cold. Now, I record it ahead of time. So if it's trying to have me say something terrible, I get out of it. But as I was listening to that spot, which I know it sounds like it was just put in the show, and it was, but I pre-recorded it so that I could like tighten it up and make sure it sounded good and all those things, because I don't want to stumble during an ad read. It had me say, trust me at the end.
Oh.
I don't like that phrase.
No, I don't like that either. No.
Yeah, and I just need to tell the AI don't use that phrase anymore. Yeah.
Don't use trust me or to if I'm being honest or
correct.
Those are not the right
No, because it makes it makes it sound like, well, wait, should you not have trusted me before?
Correct. It causes the opposite. Yeah.
It causes the opposite. Yeah, exactly.
If you say truthfully or to be honest or, trust me, the opposite in your head goes, what? I can't trust you. Are you,
I can't trust you. I had an M&A advisor years ago who told me, don't say honestly, say candidly. And I was
love that.
I like that. Yeah, right.
That's good. That's really good.
It's really good. Candid.
That's almost as good as your not apologizing in the email, but when for a late reply, but saying, I appreciate your patience.
Yes.
Dude, I use that all the time. It is my go-to. I will never apologize again for taking true.
What's great
unless
is
I really screwed up, of course.
Yeah, I didn't screw something up, but it's my fault. It doesn't matter, right? And so, there was something our organization screwed up today, and I have to own it.
Yeah, that's normal.
And so I apologize for that, but it meant so much. It felt like it meant so much more because I'm not just throwing out apologies left and right. It's like, nope, I own this. We screwed this up. This messes with you. I'm sorry. And they even wrote me back. They're like, oh my gosh, really don't worry about it. It's all fine. It's all good. And it really was. It was, in the grand scheme of things, relatively minor. But it caused somebody a headache here in Q4, which is something that I try to avoid because I know everybody's running at full speed. Yeah. And I have created my own headache here, Shannon.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear about this.
Yeah. I'm not going to share I'm going to protect the innocent. Sure. But of course, if you're listening, you know who you are on this. And please don't take this the wrong way. It's how things work in our business. But one thing that I have noticed over the years is that the amount someone is spending with us has the way we perceive the amount that someone is spending with us does not define how much customer service they are going to need. What defines that is how much that amount means to them, right? So if somebody has a $100,000 budget and is spending $1,000 with us, they're going to want a level of customer service, but they're literally spending 1% of their budget with us, right? So
sure.
They're spread pretty wide.
Their expectations maybe are lower or not
efficient, or they're more savvy, or right? All of those things can be simultaneously true or interchangeably true.
Yep.
If someone's spending $1,000 with you of their $1,000 budget, then it becomes that $1,000 takes far more to service. And I will say that if the first person with the $100,000 budget is spending $15,000 with you, they're still going to be really easy compared to the one. And it's like, and it's Q4 and I've got this one client and I really want to get them across the finish line. Don't get me wrong, I value the sale, and this particular sale is actually important to me. But what's even more important is helping these people promote this product that they have come to market with, and it's the first time they're advertising.
Yeah, they probably put their lifeblood into this thing, right? Yeah.
They absolutely have. And what they've built is amazing, and I love it, and I can't wait to tell the world about it. And so I hope all of this stuff comes to fruition. But oh man, the text messages and the phone calls, and we spent an hour on the phone, and now I need to go spend another hour on the phone. It's like, okay, well, that's if those 2 hours are approximately 2 hours more than I spent for the $15,000 client, right?
Sure. And I think it's also
so disproportionate.
And
this is not a complaint. It's just an observation.
Yeah.
It is a frustration, but it's one that I create constantly. So
and I think as they're speaking of customers, because there's that saying, of course, that a customer spends less, takes more time, easier, they get maybe upset or requires more customer service. Customers that spend a lot of money tend to just blow it off, or not blow it off, but just kind of easier to work with. But
it's about the percentage of their budget, I think.
And that's very true. And I also think it's the maybe it's an education or a better word for it is an experience thing. Maybe this is their first ad campaign for this brand new product, and they're stressed about it. They don't know how it's going to happen. But 5 products down the road, they'll probably be like, oh, you know what? We just do this. This is the way it works, and it's going to be great. So it's you have to build that experience level up.
Yes, it's the experience level. It is. Yeah. And both of those things can be a factor, right? The percentage of the budget and or the experience with what they're doing. I mean, they might have a huge budget, but this is the first time, say, they're sponsoring podcasts. And so
that's right.
This is a new thing. They can't just put it on autopilot yet. They need to be in the system and all those things. And so it's like,
So how do you bring them along to where the next time they're more comfortable? Do you have to just educate them about the process? We are going to play it. We're going to play what you want us to say. This is how it's going to work. These are the results you can expect. I mean, it's just that continually just, sharing that process with them.
In fact, there was one moment I sent them the campaign, like standard order. Here's what we're going to do. And they came back with like these 10 things. We also want to make sure you mention it this way and this way and this way and this way and this way.
Yeah.
And most of it was like, that's going to kind of happen automatically. That's fine. One of the things was like a non-starter for me. And I understood what they wanted was, they're going to buy like a 6-month campaign. So one ad per month, right?
Awesome.
In an episode. So, okay, great. No problem. They're like, we want you to just like mention that we are an ongoing sponsor in every episode during that 6-month period. And I'm like, I get that. And candidly, I actually kind of like that. We used to do that on Mac Geek Gab, where we had the people who were just on auto renew.
Okay.
We mentioned them at the end of every episode.
You got like another little nudge.
Another little nudge.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was like, okay, I like this idea. I'm not currently doing it. I might find a way to reincorporate it. This might be the catalyst to us reincorporating it. I like it. It's something we used to do. It kind of went away. No reason it can't come back. We didn't intentionally do away with it because it was bad. Right. I think it just sort of the market changed, right? And now the market has changed again. So it's like, okay, I like this idea. I said, but I'm not going to put it in the contract because I don't want to commit to it, because if I just did it without it being a new thing that we're doing for everyone that's in this boat, it's going to seem ham-fisted.
Yeah.
My listeners know who I am.
Yeah.
They want transparency.
It's got to be natural.
It has to be natural.
I struggle with the ads too. Like, that's why I love it. Like when we have Notion, Shopify, they're just like, boom, man, this is a text expander. Those are so useful for especially our entrepreneurs and small business owners. It's terrific.
So I did use the phrase "trust me" in an email to them, but what I said was, I'm not going to include this, and here's why. All the reasons I just said. I said, but I want you to get promotion, so you're going to have to trust me that I'm going to make that happen.
Yes. Yeah. And you want it to be natural, because that gives your message and the advertiser's product or service more credibility. You want it to be natural, for sure. So it's fascinating. I love customers that don't spend a lot of money too, especially when you're starting out
it's
new
fun.
venture, new business. Yeah, I mean, those people help you learn. The ones that you're going to make $50 or whatever it is. I really value them. And I think it's just over time, as you get busier with other stuff, your customer service department it's easy to, this is one of the things that I don't like about being in business. It's easy to get cynical.
I was just going to say jaded.
Yes. Jaded and cynical. And I really went out of my way to walk, and when we were doing customer service training or even in a warehouse, it's like, hey, you have to talk about the customers with respect, because it kind of permeates your whole culture. And if you're ripping on your customers because there's only a small percentage that usually drive you crazy.
Right.
But if that becomes the tone, it can really damage the way you interact. And some people don't know how to turn it off, and they may say things a little snarky to a customer, and that's the last thing you want. So, excuse me, you can have your jokes or whatever, but you also have to recognize the great customers, and talk about how, man, 98% of them are just awesome, because you can damage your business.
Take a minute. Like you're talking about internally with your staff.
Oh, yes. Just internally. Because if you're complaining about a customer all the time, or it's natural, we're humans, you're going to gripe about certain things.
Yeah, but beware.
If the tone is negative, it's going to come across in the copy you write, your website, your terms and conditions.
This has been good business therapy for me. This is good. Because I needed this. I knew all of this, but it's like today, they've been peppering me with all kinds of things, and it's like,
you have to love them, man, because
I do. That's the thing is, it's like I do love them. I'm super stoked about this,
but they drive you nuts sometimes.
But what I don't have is extra bandwidth.
Time
to just give them. I have to remember that the size of this campaign is what it is. I've already spent more time on it than I will every other dollar that we have made this year.
Yeah,
but I need to be. What I'm balancing is I'm not upset with them.
Sure.
Where my frustration comes from is I cannot carve out the time that they are requesting. And maybe that's tough. What I need to tell them. Like, hey, I really want to make this work. Yeah. And I know you're excited. I have to, maybe not saying I cannot, because that's negative.
Yes.
Because of all the things I do, I must compartmentalize my time. And so now I'm be able to spend time looking at this where I wasn't earlier today. And that's simply true.
Yeah, that's okay. And also maybe I find I have a similar thing where, posting on X and trying to give away information and be valuable, you get certain people that, like other people, like, hey, I want to pay you. Can we jump on a call? And it's like, now. Here, it's for an hour. Okay, great. Well, if I have time, it's not, here's my calendar, But you have other folks that are awesome, but they're just hammer you in the comments and the DMs. And I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, I can't even pay attention to those DMs.
Right.
So I'll give them a little information and I'll say, hey, if you want to hire me to assist you, here's the next step. And so maybe laying it out in here's what you get with this ad campaign. We anticipate spending X amount of time helping you set up this and doing this, so they get a better idea of how it works. Or maybe you have to do a Loom video or something where they could watch it and go, especially for a new person that needs their handheld a little bit more. And there's, like you said, they're super valuable. You want them to succeed. That's your business. And
it is,
educating them how this is going to work and to, we got this. Maybe more than trust me is we got this.
I think this is going to have to be an I appreciate your patience moment.
I got it, dude. I got it. I love that.
Well,
song.
I mean, because it's true. I do appreciate their patience.
Of course.
I want to create a scenario that's not frustrating for anyone. And so,
Yeah, I do too. And I just want to recognize how I'm stoked that there are 425 streamers.
We almost made it through an episode without you talking about X. I didn't say X.
People watching the streamers. I wasn't going to say it. I've already talked about X like 5 times. I can't help it. I'm building on one platform or another. But yeah, we appreciate you, following along. If you have questions for us, hit us up on X or feedback@businessbrain.show. We love talking about things you want to hear. We do this show because we love getting together and talking about small business, entrepreneurship, AI, deals, whatever.
That's awesome.
So let us know what you want to hear so we can talk about it.
Yeah. Feedback@businessbrain.show, like he said, or follow him on X, Shannon Jean, or me, Dave Hamilton. At Shannon Jean, at Dave Hamilton. I think they know what we mean. If not, now you do. Have a great weekend. Keep living that charmed life. We'll see you next week.